The chosen one, the storm raged inside you, a silent war between faith and fear. The voice you once trusted now feels distant, almost gone. You ask yourself if this call was ever real or just the echo of your own longing. But deep within, something still stirs a flicker that refuses to die. You were not meant for an ordinary life. You were marked long before you could understand destiny. And yet, here you are, standing in the tension between surrender and disbelief, between the promise you were given and the silence that followed. You whisper, "Why me? Why now? Why still nothing?" But heaven does not answer in the language of immediacy. It speaks through delay, through the ache of waiting, through the breaking of what you thought was unbreakable. Time feels like an enemy. You watch days turn to dust and prayers turn to whispers. Every door seems to close. Every promise feels postponed. Yet, what you cannot see is that the author of time has not stopped writing your story. The ink is still wet. The page is still turning. The God you serve is not late. He is the God of the 11th hour, the one who moves when all hope seems lost, the one who rewrites endings after the world has already closed the book. You remember the thief on the cross, condemned, broken, beyond redemption. And yet, in his final breath, mercy found him. That is the God you serve, the one who saves in the last breath, who restores in the final hour. So here you stand, between despair and deliverance, wondering if you have been forgotten. But hear this, you have not been overlooked. You have been preserved. There is a difference. When you think it's over, that's when the true work begins. When you see nothing moving, heaven is aligning unseen threads. Delay is not denial. Silence is not absence. You are still on divine time. You might not understand the pain, the delay, the confusion, but the delay is shaping you into the vessel that can carry what you once only prayed for. Because destiny is not given to the impatient. It is entrusted to those who have been refined by waiting. You must understand, faith is not built in moments of victory, but in moments when God seems most silent. That silence is the furnace where trust is forged. So, breathe. The hour is late, yes, but He is the God who shows up at the last second, when the sea cannot part, when the mountain cannot move, when the heart cannot take another disappointment. That is when His voice breaks the silence. And when He moves, He will not simply change your situation, He will change you. He will teach you that miracles are not interruptions of nature, they are reminders that you were never meant to live bound by it. You, the chosen one, are being prepared for a moment that defies human reason. This is not the end of your story. It is the moment before the light breaks. If you could see what heaven sees, you would not be afraid. You would know that the fire you walk through is the very fire that will make your faith unshakable. Hold on. Do not bow to fear. You were never meant to live according to the ticking of the clock, but according to the rhythm of eternity. You think the year is slipping away, that chances are gone, but heaven does not operate on your calendar. When others say it's over, God says, "Watch what I will do now." This is the 11th hour, and that means the miracle is near. Write 333 inches the comments. It's a prophetic sign of your divine alignment, because your waiting is not wasted, because your time is not over, because you are, and always have been, the chosen one. The chosen one. The night feels endless. The stars have grown dim. The silence of heaven has never felt heavier. You stand in the middle of unanswered prayers and fading promises, wondering if the voice that once called your name has gone quiet forever. You have walked faithfully. You have prayed, fasted, wept, and believed, yet the heavens remain still. And in that stillness, doubt begins to whisper. Maybe I heard wrong. Maybe this promise wasn't meant for me. But listen carefully. The silence is not a void. It is a classroom. The teacher is not absent. He is observing. Every moment of quiet is a test of trust. Every unanswered prayer is an invitation to deeper faith. You think you are being punished, but you are being purified. You think God has withdrawn, but He is preparing something that requires silence before revelation. When Sarah laughed at the promise, she was not mocking heaven, she was reflecting the exhaustion of waiting. Her faith had worn thin, her years had weighed heavy, her hope was brittle, and yet, at the appointed time, She conceived what seemed impossible. That is the rhythm of divine timing. It breaks your expectations so it can rebuild your faith. It stretches your endurance so it can expand your capacity for grace. The chosen are not chosen because they are strong. They are chosen because they are willing to be broken. Broken vessels leak pride and fear until all that remains is trust. The world measures time in minutes, but heaven measures readiness. You think you are late, but God says you are right, on schedule. You may feel like a seed buried beneath the soil, forgotten, unseen, suffocating in the dark. But buried things are not dead things. What feels like a tomb is often a womb. Something is forming in secret, waiting for its appointed season to break the surface. Hold your silence. Stay in the dark a little longer. Growth is taking place where you cannot yet see it. You see, the God of the 11th hour is not just the God of miracles. He is the God of transformation. Before He changes your circumstances, He changes you. Before He opens doors, He opens your heart. But that transformation is rarely gentle. It tears through your expectations, dismantles your comfort, and exposes every corner of disbelief you thought you had conquered. You begin to ask questions you once avoided. Why would a loving God let me wait this long? Why must faith hurt before it heals? Because, dear chosen one, faith that never breaks can never deepen. The waiting is not cruelty, it is construction. It is building a foundation that can sustain what is coming. Remember the workers in the vineyard. Some were called at dawn, others at dusk, yet all received the same reward. Grace does not run on a schedule, it runs on surrender. You have compared yourself to others, haven't you? You've seen them receive what you prayed for and wondered why your turn never came. But the truth is, your story was never meant to follow theirs. Your pace is divine. Your delay is sacred. Every second of waiting is a seed of trust. Every tear is watering the promise. And soon, what you thought was the end will become the beginning of your miracle. You are standing on holy ground. Though it feels like desolation, the soil beneath your feet is alive with unseen movement. The same God who parted the Red Sea, who turned graves into gateways, is aligning the details of your destiny. Do not measure His silence by your calendar. The God who seems slow is preparing something that cannot fail. If only you could see beyond the moment, you would understand He is not ignoring you. He is orchestrating the impossible. So lift your eyes. The silence is not punishment. It is prophecy. Your midnight is only proof that dawn is near. And when that dawn breaks, you will look back and realize every unanswered prayer was leading you here, to this sacred threshold of transformation. When God moves, it will not just change your story, it will redefine your faith. If you feel this truth, hit like and subscribe. This is not the end. This is the breath before resurrection. You, the chosen one, are standing in the silence before the miracle. The chosen one. The wind is fierce tonight. The air burns against your skin. The world feels heavy, and so does your heart. You whisper again. Why must the path to purpose feel like punishment? The fire that surrounds you is not here to destroy you. It is here to reveal you. Every chosen one must pass through the flame. It is not the sign of rejection, it is the seal of refinement. You think you are being abandoned, but in truth, you are being purified. The flames that rage around you are burning away everything that cannot go with you into your destiny. Pride, fear, self-reliance, all of it must melt before the gold within you can shine. This is the mystery of the chosen. To the world, it looks like you are losing everything. But to heaven, you are gaining something unbreakable. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not find God before the fire. They found Him inside it. The furnace was not their end, it was their encounter. The fire that was meant to consume them became the very place where God walked beside them. That is the secret most never understand. When you stop asking for escape and begin to ask for endurance, heaven opens. When you surrender the need to be delivered and choose instead to be transformed, the fire loses its power to harm you. Your trials are not signs of failure, they are confirmations of calling. Only the chosen are tested this way. Only those with a divine assignment are trusted with such pain. There are moments when the flames feel too close, when you can barely breathe, when you want to run back to comfort and forget the promise. But there is no going back. Once you are chosen, retreat only multiplies the pain. You must walk through. Even if your voice trembles, even if your faith flickers like a dying candle, walk through. The fire is not your enemy. It is your initiation. You will come out of this with something the world cannot imitate: authentic faith. The kind that has scars. The kind that can stand when everything else falls. You wonder if it is worth it. The sleepless nights, the loneliness, the waiting that feels endless. But what is being forged inside you is eternal. You are being shaped into someone who will not crumble when the world shakes. The chosen must learn to stand in the heat without losing their heart. That is how kings are made, how prophets are born, how warriors of faith are refined. You ask for purpose, and God sends you pressure. You pray for wisdom, and He allows confusion. You plead for peace, and He stirs a storm. It feels cruel, but it is divine precision, for it is only under heat that clay becomes stone. You are not being punished. You are being tempered for eternity. Do not fear the fire. It is not here to destroy your destiny, but to reveal it. Remember this truth. When God steps into the flame with you, the heat can no longer harm you. The same fire that once threatened to end you becomes the very light that will announce your rebirth. You will rise from it not as who you were, but as who you were meant to become. Look around you. Every ember, every spark, every tear is part of a holy design. Nothing you endure is wasted. Nothing you lose is in vain. When this season ends, people will see the glow of survival on your face and call it strength. But you will know it was never strength. It was surrender. And that surrender turned you into gold. Write 333 inches the comments. It's a prophetic sign of your divine alignment. Because the fire you are in now is not your end, it is your awakening. Hold on, chosen one. The flames are almost done refining you. And what will emerge will silence every doubt, every fear, every voice that ever said you wouldn't make it. This chapter ends in the fire, but the next begins in the light. The chosen one. The fire has passed, but the ashes remain. The world is quiet again, yet the silence feels heavier than before. You stand in the aftermath of your testing, expecting revelation, expecting joy, but instead, all you feel is emptiness. You look around and realize the people you trusted are gone. The ones who said they believed in you have turned away. You thought surviving the storm would bring applause, but instead, it brought isolation. You whisper to yourself, "Did I endure all of that for nothing?" The truth is, this is the most dangerous hour, the night that comes after the fire. The moment when your strength has run out and heaven still seems silent. You have learned endurance, but now you must learn trust without evidence. This is the part of the journey no one talks about. The quiet disillusionment, the fatigue of faith, the subtle ache that grows when promises remain unfulfilled. You walk through your days smiling on the outside, while your spirit quietly asks, "Was I ever really chosen?" But listen carefully. Every chosen one must face the night of doubt. Every prophet must question his own vision. Every warrior must wonder if the battle was worth the blood. It is in this darkness that real faith is born, not the faith of miracles, but the faith of silence. Not the faith that shouts, but the faith that waits. You remember Elijah, don't you? He called fire from heaven, defeated false prophets, and witnessed divine power. Yet soon after, he sat beneath a tree, broken and weary, asking God to end his life. Even the strongest grow tired when the light delays. But God did not abandon Elijah in the wilderness. He came to him in a whisper, not in fire, not in thunder, but in the still small voice that spoke through the quiet. That is how heaven speaks to the weary, not with noise, but with knowing. You may not see miracles now, but the whisper is near. You may not feel his presence, but the silence you fear is filled with his unseen breath. Faith in the night looks different. It doesn't glow, it flickers. It doesn't roar, it barely breathes. And yet, that faint flicker carries more power than 1,000 shouts, because it survives when nothing else can. You think you are losing faith, but you are actually shedding false faith, the kind built on visible results and instant answers. What remains is pure, stripped of condition, strong enough to stand even when the heavens seem locked. Do not mistake exhaustion for abandonment. The weight you feel is not God's absence, it is the gravity of destiny. The chosen are not called to comfort. They are called to transformation, and transformation always passes through the valley of doubt. The night may seem endless, but dawn is already written into your story. Every shadow has an appointed expiration. Every ache has a divine conclusion. You must hold on, even when holding on feels meaningless, because faith does not always feel like fire. Sometimes it feels like barely standing. And yet, in that stillness, heaven moves. You are not forgotten. You are being watched by unseen eyes, guarded by unseen hands. Angels record your tears as testimonies. Every sigh becomes a line in your story of redemption. You think this silence will break you, but it is shaping your spirit into something indestructible. When morning comes, and it will come, you will see that the dark night did not steal your faith. It revealed it. Remember, the thief comes in darkness, but so does resurrection. If you feel this truth, hit like and subscribe. Not because this is a message, but because it is your confirmation. Your night is not forever. The dawn is closer than you think. You, the chosen one, are walking through the last stretch of shadow before the light. The chosen one. You have been through the silence, the fire, and the night. Your spirit has walked through every season of surrender. And now, as the horizon glows faintly with the promise of morning, something begins to shift inside you. You do not yet see the full light, but you feel it. The subtle warmth brushing against your cold resolve. You take a breath, and for the first time in a long time, it doesn't burn. This is not yet victory, but it is awakening. The dawn is breaking, not with thunder or applause, but with a quiet clarity that only the broken can understand. You look back and realize that the pain was not punishment, it was preparation. The silence that once haunted you has become your teacher. The fire that once threatened you has become your companion, and the night that nearly consumed you has taught you how to see in the dark. Now, the world around you begins to stir. Doors that refuse to open start to shift on their hinges. People who once doubted you begin to see a light they cannot name. But you know that light, it is not yours. It is the residue of the divine flame that refined you. You are no longer who you were. You have been stripped of illusion, emptied of pride, and filled with something deeper than certainty, faith without evidence. The kind of faith that does not demand proof, only presence. You thought the fire would destroy you, but it revealed your resilience. You thought the silence would end you, but it deepened your hearing. You thought the night would kill your belief, but it resurrected your purpose. This is the paradox of the chosen. The way up is always through the valley. The way to light is always through darkness. The way to destiny is always through doubt. And now you stand at the threshold of a new season. The air feels different, charged with unseen promise. But before the light fully breaks, the voice returns, not loud, not demanding, but firm and unmistakable. You have been faithful in the shadows. Now rise. You hesitate. You still feel the weight of yesterday's wounds. But the call is not waiting for your perfection. It is waiting for your surrender. Rise, even if your knees shake. Rise, even if your heart still trembles with fear. The dawn does not wait for certainty, it answers courage. The same God who sustained you in the dark now calls you into the light. The same power that held you through the storm now propels you toward purpose. But remember, this dawn is not an ending, it is an unveiling. What you have survived has equipped you for what you must now become. Every wound is a map. Every scar is a signpost pointing to the promise you once doubted would ever arrive. As the first rays break across your path, you finally see that the wilderness was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal the strength you carried all along. You realize that the waiting was not wasted time. It was sacred incubation. You begin to walk again, not with the urgency of desperation, but with the calm rhythm of divine timing. You have learned that miracles are not lightning. They are slow sunrises, steady and inevitable. The God of the 11th hour is still writing your story. And now, for the first time, you see how every delay, every disappointment, every detour was leading you here to this precise alignment of heart and purpose. You thought you were waiting for the miracle, but the miracle was waiting for you. The dawn is breaking not around you, but through you. The chosen do not chase light, they become it. And as you stand there, eyes lifted, heart trembling, you understand that the true miracle was never the change of your circumstance. It was the transformation of your soul. So walk forward now, not as one waiting for signs, but as one who has become a sign, a living testament that even in the 11th hour, grace never fails. Write 333 inches the comments. It's a prophetic sign of your divine alignment. The world is waking. Your time has come. You, the chosen one, are the dawn the darkness feared. The chosen one. The light has come, but it does not look the way you imagined. It is softer, humbler, quieter. It does not announce itself with thunder, nor does it erase the pain that shaped you. It simply arrives, like a whisper that has been waiting for you to finally listen. You stand in the midst of everything you once prayed for, yet something in you hesitates. You have changed too much to return to who you were before. The promise you receive now must fit the soul that has been reborn through the fire. You remember how you begged for God to move quickly, how you cried for signs and miracles, but now you understand speed would have destroyed you. What you needed was depth. What you needed was the waiting that broke you open and made room for what is holy. The old you would have chased the blessing. The new you has become the vessel for it. This is what the divine delay was always about. Not denial, transformation. Not withholding, preparation. You once thought the miracle was the moment when everything changes outside of you, but now you see that the true miracle is the one that happens within the quiet shift, where fear becomes faith, where striving becomes surrender, and in that surrender, the promise finally finds its home. You walk through your day differently now, the same streets, the same struggles, but a new awareness. You begin to see divine fingerprints everywhere, in the way the wind moves, in the stranger who smiles, in the silence that no longer feels empty. You are no longer searching for proof. You are living proof. The chosen never truly return to ordinary life. Once you have been called through the wilderness, once you have heard heaven speak in the stillness, you carry that fire forever. The world may never understand it, but they will feel it when you walk into a room. People will ask you what happened, why you no longer fear what you used to, why your peace seems untouchable, why you glow even when life is uncertain. You will smile, because how can you explain that the same God who broke you also rebuilt you in silence? You will simply say, I met him in the waiting. Every unanswered prayer, every tear, every hour of darkness led you to this place of knowing. The promise was never lost. It was waiting for the version of you who could carry it without being consumed by it. The God of the 11th hour has not changed. He is still the one who resurrects what others buried. He is still the one who calls life out of dead places. And now, you realize he was not only writing your story, he was writing you into his. You are no longer afraid of time. You have learned that destiny does not rush. You have learned that divine timing is not delay, it is design. And as you walk forward, you carry a new rhythm in your spirit, a rhythm that does not bow to fear or clocks or circumstance. You walk with the knowing that you are guided by something eternal. The chosen one does not chase miracles anymore, they become miracles. The final revelation comes quietly. It is not a voice this time, not a vision, but a certainty that blooms in your chest like sunrise. You were never waiting for God to arrive. He was waiting for you to awaken. The fire was not to test his faithfulness. It was to prove your resilience. The silence was not abandonment, it was instruction. The doubt was not failure, it was transformation. And now, the story that began in fear ends in fulfillment. You have walked through storm and silence, fire and night, doubt and dawn, and you have emerged with a faith that cannot be shaken. You have learned that being chosen is not about being perfect, it is about being willing to keep walking, even when the path disappears. You have become the very message you were seeking. The promise is not ahead of you, it lives within you now. Every breath you take is a declaration that grace still wins. Every step you take is a prophecy that cannot fail. You are no longer asking, when will God show up? You are now the evidence that he already has. So go forth. Walk into this new season with quiet strength. Let your scars speak louder than your fears. Let your faith lead where sight cannot follow. You are the living proof that the year isn't over until God says it's over. You are the testimony of divine timing. You are the voice of the 11th hour. Write 333 inches the comments. It's your sign that your alignment has begun. The waiting is finished. The promise has returned. And the world is about to see the glory that was hidden within you all along. You, the chosen one, have finally become the miracle.